Well, hello and welcome everyone to this another session in the A4Q Summit 2026. I am delighted to have with me May Abu-Sbeit. Hello, May.
Hello, Debbie. How are you?
May. I'm very well, May. Thank you so much. May, very quick introduction. You currently work with the Royal Scientific Society. I believe you've been testing for about 22 years. And I know that you are also a member of the Jordanian software testing community, an active member there. And I know I've had the pleasure of working with you several times, which is just wonderful.
Thank you.
May, you've got a really interesting topic to discuss today, one that I know I'm certainly looking forward to. It's one that I think is really important. So I'd urge people to sit back and enjoy in just a moment. We will take questions at the end, and hopefully we will have some questions in the comments. Also, if we run out of time, then people please put your comments anyway, because I know May will come back to you separately. We'll ensure she gets those. As always, at the end, when May finishes, we'll have a little QR code pop up on screen, and you can use that to vote for the best presentation in the summit. So I'll remind you about that. May, I'm going to get off stage and sit back, and I know I'm going to enjoy this. So over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Debbie. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining my session today. It's really a great pleasure to be able to talk in such an important conference. My session today would be about emphasizing the humanity of software testing in the age of AI. So everyone is talking about AI. So this is something that I want to talk about because of my experience. As Ms. Debbie mentioned, I've been working in this field since almost 2002. So I've really had some good time and bad time working in different projects where software testing had really been very simple until very complex software testing. My role also as an active member of Joystick Review has exposed me to more than one society, to more than one different business need, to more than one way to teach testing as well through my work and trainings. This has brought me to the point that we really need from time to time to check in how human software testing should stay, and at the same time, how to integrate the new technologies in our work. I always like to give awareness about software testing and to build on my own experience from lessons from others and from myself to build better future. So from the time I started, things were very different from today. So let's take it one step at a time. Let's go back a little bit and talk about a little thing. Well, once upon a time, there was a need for specific business need to be satisfied by software, by people who worked in different industries or different domains. For example, we had the need for bookkeeping. Where you want to keep your financial records, where you want to make some annual reports, you want to make sure that everything is in place in terms of money, the cash flow, etc. This was really a hard job for so many people. So many people were involved in this. They needed to specify this business need, to satisfy this business need. A lot of steps and a lot of checks were done, and all of that was manual. So there was no software there. Gradually, around 1960s, software development started to take off more, and it was targeted to take enterprise software tools mainly, like the one we mentioned, where the main users were the employees of a specific business domain. And that made it a lot, of course, much more efficient than just simple paperwork. And it became more dependable, more repeatable, more good results. And today, as we are working, what enabled us to reach today actually is that the regional commuters also kicked in. And that made software more commercial, more available almost for everyone, and targeted individuals. And now we are quickly starting an era already. It's a totally new era where new technologies, mainly what I'm talking about is not just about big data, about cloud computing, about quantum computing. It's mainly about AI now, as I feel it's really leading the way and taking in all of these technologies within it. So it really has gone a long way to be able to move from satisfying a user need manually through paperwork, very simple paperwork that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, very much error prone. Until today, we have advanced software development, advanced software testing. Why am I talking about this? Because to understand where software testing stands today, we needed to understand how development has evolved. And the same way, testing has evolved as well. There was no actual testing for how the need was satisfied paper-wise. It was more like maybe auditing, maybe going to checks, some quality control activities. But as software kept increasing in spread, as more people used it, that no longer can be feasible. So let me say official testing had to kick in to be aligned with the SDLC. We started having different ways to do testing. We had definitions for SDLC, which is maybe mainly mentioned in CTFL if you want to reference to that as something renowned. And of course, the test approaches and techniques have also evolved. So we started off like from manual testing, maybe another big jump was automation testing, automated testing, and now we are on our way to have AI-assisted testing, and we are testing the systems themselves, the AI systems themselves. So this is not something that we need to just think about in one way. It can be done in different ways. It needs to go on with the development side by side. So actually, this automation, the new technologies in AI era, it has really benefited the STLC so much in so much parts of it. In every phase that you can see, from test planning to test analysis to test completion, and even after that, you can see that AI is getting more involved. And also, in the same time, it is helping both the technical role and the managerial role of the STLC. But there's an issue. It seems that AI-assisted testing tends to fall short in some areas. This is based on my experience from talks to other colleagues in the industry and from people who really care about testing and how to do it in a better way. So they mentioned that we have issues with exploratory testing, especially when the systems are very complex. We have issues when we ask AI and take its advice sometimes to help us in the bug severity categorization, especially if it doesn't really know the context very well. Sometimes we have to make decisions where to go exactly, in what direction. And they mentioned that AI is not really that much helpful in that area. A big red flag was actually localized testing, because AI is not really well trained, maybe in some languages, in some cultures, in some contexts, that reflects in maybe missing test cases, missing guidance, not so applicable approaches to do in a specific culture or industry. And also, you would find issues related to accessibility, related to how much we should adhere and how to adhere to legal frameworks and medical frameworks. When it comes also to interaction with different user types, to interaction with different user needs. You have users who have accessibility issues. You have other users who are, old, and others are young. So it's not that accurate when it comes to this area, especially that there's no way for AI today to understand as a human what the intent of the business or behind this software is. So all of this tended to cause, or sometimes increasingly make us hear about issues. Sometimes it's just unpleasant experiences related to AI, or at least that's what it seems to be. We have heard issues related to security concerns, breaches. We have heard issues related to discrimination, where facial recognition could fall short from identifying specific facial features, leading to identification of this person maybe as someone needing help or someone of a specific gender. It caused, in some cases, explicit content to be shown, digital harassment. And also it left some people with legal dilemma where they are unable to know what exactly to do. If they took the recognition, they took the recommendation of the AI, and at the same time, it turned out it has a lot of legal implications, and that was not really counted. Sometimes it was funny to hear about some in the news in the past that it looked like some error messages that appeared to the users were a bit insulting in some cultures. They were somehow not very understandable or lovable by the end users. So, if you can search the news, you will find a lot of issues. Will not go deeply, technically, will not go deeply into many incidents, but I think at least you have heard one or two incidents lately related to this area. So I think, in my mind, in my opinion, that some of these issues at least could have been avoided or reduced if we put some, the hat of more human when we are doing the software testing, when we are thinking about it as well. So, what can we do in that regard? To be able to say so, let me just rephrase or think again, or maybe recap what really makes a human a human. Actually, it's so many things, and it's different from one culture to another. But again, something I feel it's common, that a human first has maybe different parts or different constituents to it, to this person, whether it's a he or a she, regardless, in any area, in any country. I hear this a lot, that people are made of body, mind, heart, and soul. You may feel that in a one way or another. So, how does that affect software development, or how does that affect software testing? When we know that these are main constituents of a human, and they are main motivators for the human behavior, and also they need to be satisfied in one way or another, you would find that software needs to really tickle these areas. Let me just take the simple example we talked about bookkeeping. Having a software to do bookkeeping instead of manual work, something that helps your mind, instead of doing all those logical operations on hand and the calculations, etc., you can move that part to the software. At the same time, you would feel more relaxed because you spend less hours on the office. Your back and your eyes would be much better health than just being all day writing and checking, etc. Regarding the heart, if you really love your work, you would find that as well satisfied in the software you are doing. It needs to be easy. You need to love it when you use it. You need to be able to move around without feeling it's like offensive or something you don't like. Regarding the soul, it might be a bit far-reached here, but if you are someone working in this industry and you have like higher values where you really treasure and you want to make sure that honesty is there, that integrity of the numbers, you are thinking about it as something that would help the country you are in. It's really very important to some of the end users, if not all of them. That would satisfy some calling inside of you. In addition, when we talk about humans, we have so many human characteristics. These are things that move us around. These are things that make us want to be involved, and we want to provide service. We have a purpose. Most of us think we have a higher purpose for them in this world, whether it would be to enhance the lives of someone, whether to serve the environment in one way, to protect the animals in one way. Everyone has a purpose. Some of that is related to ethics as well. What are the ethics that you are looking for and you want to adhere to as a human? We also have an intention. We do things with intention. And that makes us able to maybe focus on our work, to be able to reach what we want, because we have an intention and like a role to do as well. Very important is that we mention empathy as well. We are empathetic. We are created to be empathetic. We are able to at least think how this has affected the other person, how this area, how this work, how this software would affect the lives of others. In case of there was an issue, how it should be solved in a way that is really careful to the users and their needs. And this is the culture as well. We have different cultures, we have different ways of thinking, and we have different preferences. All of these need to be considered although they are human characteristics, but we need to think about them and to keep them in mind when we are talking about testing something that would be used by humans. We are also curious. Curiosity is something that leads us. Without it, we would be, so many inventions would have not been done anyway. We have the ability to be creative as well. We have a sense of humor that machines usually do not. And until now, I think if you try to ask ChatGPT or any other AI tool to give you a joke, it's usually not a very nice joke. It's like, from my own experience, I mean, we still have gaps in that area. This could be applied like maybe you have an application that you want to show jokes, you want to show something funny for people who are sick, who are anxious. You need to do it in a good way. We have the ability to contemplate, we have the ability to mediate, we have the ability to reflect and rethink. All of these things are really something that makes up us as humans. But at the same time, we as humans, we have imperfections, we have issues. We feel tired. Sometimes we feel lose focus. We are over attached to things or to people. We get bored. Actually, we have sometimes we cannot just there's no way to upload a file in your mind just to understand how to do something specific really and how to master it. We go through a learning curve. We have to go through steps and give them their time to be able to really understand and go through it. And sometimes we get overwhelmed. We get over emotional. Sometimes we can just, get too much irritated, or we can get defensive, and we forget. We forget. All of these things, again, are part of being human. And they do affect our work, whether it was in software engineering, in software development, software testing, and any other area that we do. So these are just examples. You can think of many more, I'm sure. So how can we take this in and think about it as an approach to AI-assisted testing? How can we do that without, we need to make use of this new technology, and we already have much ability to use it in the mainly technical parts, let me say, of the software testing. But again, there are things that we really is, I think it's a compass. It's a compass that we need to have with us all the way to direct us in the directions that would keep us, thinking about that software is created by humans to serve humans. So it needs to be provided in a humanitarian way that really satisfies the human needs. So one of the main things that I would recommend is to manually practice and to master the testing skills. And this is really a good advice that has a scientific evidence to it, that because we humans need to, acquire skills, acquiring a skill takes time. So here I'm thinking of us as humans, as testers, as humans, I mean, in this area. As a human tester, I need to be able to understand what testing is really about and to practice it before I delve into automation and before I delve into AI to use it. This is like something common I see now for new testers or for trainees that we train sometimes. They don't want, or they feel too like a big step for them to learn how to do testing. They just take it from the easy way and they go ask AI to help them from the start. No. Scientifically, to be able to earn an acceptable level of mastering of the testing skills, you need to practice that at least from 3 to 6 months. I don't mean that you don't need to use AI at all during that period. At least you need to practice it. I mean, you need to plan for the test. You have to write the test cases. You have to think about the test data. You have to talk to people yourself. And you have to see what others are doing who are more senior than you. This is really important to set the base for you and to have a test oracle that you can compare whatever AI gives you with. Otherwise, you will not be able to judge, since AI is not deterministic. AI is not really something considerate to specific things it does not know. So you need to have this compass. You need to have this sense of how to evaluate what AI is going to give me. That's why we need to do it in our own way first. The second thing, once you decide you need to use AI tools to help you in your test, please try your best to have a roadmap. Write a roadmap before you start. Because if you get into too many details, if you try too many tools, you just lose focus of what's really important to you and what really needs to be covered, what really needs to be considered, what should not be considered, as well as what should not be done by the AI versus what can be advised by the AI. You need to keep these things in mind. Also, it's very nice if you can have a checklist with you, aside of you, based on what humanitarian aspects you want to consider in your software and what characteristics you need to keep in mind. For example, if you know that the people that this software is going to be targeted to are going to be elderly, you don't need to design it the same way you design something for newer generations. You need to consider that they get bored easily. You need to consider that you need to have good UI that really doesn't really tire their eyes or their hearing, etc. You can think of so many things, some of the ones I mentioned and maybe others. And again, in your own context, in your own area, in your own country, in your own needs, try to think of what areas should I focus on for this user to be happy? What values are they trying to achieve? At the same time, trust your experience and gut feeling. It doesn't mean that you need to every time just follow it blindly. No, I mean, at least if you have a good experience in testing and you have practiced testing for a long time, you would know that something is off, that something is missing, that something is maybe needs some more work. That's why it's really important to know what prompt to use with the AI. That's what really distinguishes one tester from another, how well they can use the prompts to reach what they need based on the roadmap they have in mind. So also make sure that you clarify what acceptance criteria actually is. It's not something just written that you can, think how about I need to apply it. Think of verification, think of validation, try to understand what's the hidden need before that the user is trying to accomplish. What is the hidden need that they are trying to have? Are they trying to have something that they get emotionally attached to? Are they trying to get something that would relax their minds? Are they trying to get something that's really just to accept it within their own culture? What is it that's behind it? So that you can set the acceptance criteria correctly. You can, based on it, build your own testing. So you need, again, to emphasize the usage roadmap, include the user's feedback in it. Also, engage the users. Engage them not only in the testing, engage them in just like maybe socialize with them if you can. Also, get some feedback from them. You need to understand, if you can understand the intent behind it, why is it done? Why is it done this way or preferred that way? Go back to taxonomies, actually. Go back to areas that AI has advised earlier, and you found that maybe this is something that I can make use of. Why not show it to the end user with you as well? And of course, keep going with the feedback loop. Also, it's very good if you can consult with other experts and get the second eye view. This is something really important that you can always benefit from. In addition, this is a reminder to me and for everyone. We are humans again, so we need time to breathe, we need time to reflect, and we need time to resume, because this will help you to focus again on what's really important. To being able to zoom out after zooming in, this really helps you to think about it more deeply, and are we really on our roadmap? Is something needs to be changed or not? Also, give some time to explore. You want to take the recommendations of AI, you want recommendations from your own experience, but at the same time, leave some space for exploration, whether by yourself, by your team, by someone external. That's something that would give you a lot of benefit. And that's why one of the areas that I mentioned to you that's really now lagging a little bit in the AI. I'm trying to tell you here that these are areas that need to be, again, looked at by a human and driven by a human. Even if we reach a point that AI, and we will reach that point, AI is becoming much, much better in doing these things. But again, we stay in control for them. In decision areas, whether it's something maybe technical approach or something managerial, especially when you want to decide how to deal with conflicts or with people, please make sure to consult with AI and decide yourself. It has been reported that consulting with AI in areas that are related to conflict resolution sometimes doesn't lead to the real resolution of the issue. Some people would come a conclusion that they are on the right side, while the others are on the same thing. They think they are on the right side, and no resolution would be reached there. So if you are testing such systems, you need to be careful about that. Are there biases? Are there things that we need to consider? Also, the implications of a suggestion. Sometimes it sounds like a great suggestion or a great test case or a great data to ask for. But again, is this something that is legally accepted, socially accepted? Would it have any implication if I decide to go that way? If I decide, for example, to give a diagnosis or a prescription to a patient just based on the analysis of their symptoms, etc., without enough judgment for that. In addition, just go back to the main, the testing mindset, where you are able to practice the critique and challenge what's being said. Think about how it can be broken. Think about, is it really something that needs to be maybe done now or later? And as long as you can, engage with users again and again to be able to get their feedback. Keep the tester mindset. You need to be curious. You need to be able to, understand the business as much as you can. Stay fact-based. Stay something that you need to distinguish when you are trying to act based on facts versus you are trying to act based on emotions or based on suggestions. That's something to distinguish. And again, we have a purpose, as I mentioned. I know that maybe some testers work on it just for, to get a job and to get paid. But many of us have something that inside of them tells them that this is something good. This is something that we really practice and do for the benefit of everyone around us. We are proud when we have good software. We feel happy when the software is able to help a patient or to help someone in danger. This is something that we need to keep in mind. This would really give us more passion, give us more focus to be able to move on. And I'm sure you can think of so many different things. As I mentioned, this is not technical. This is like practices, that advice that you can take in. So while finalizing this, my take would be that software testing at its essence, at its heart, is really thoughtful human activity that we need to emphasize. It's a gift from a human to another human. So it needs to be able to satisfy the human need, stay human-centered and human-led. So it's a journey that will never finish. It will ever evolve, and we need to keep it authentic. We need to keep it with true benefit. And you can involve as many technologies as you want, as long as you are taking into consideration all the human aspects included. This paragraph, I have asked ChatGPT to build a picture to represent it, and he gave me this one. So I think it's representative that we walk side by side. It's a collaboration between humans and AI, where sometimes we totally lead, sometimes we consult, and at the end we need to reach a goal without losing any important aspect of humanity for us as testers or for our customers along the way. And a final word, I know that with all these new technologies and advancements, humans because we are humans, we can sometimes feel that we are losing control. And we can sometimes feel that new technologies are taking over and we are just becoming too small for these technologies. I mean, we don't have a say anymore. We should not really be threatened because of this, but we should think about it as an opportunity to grow, opportunity to learn, and we always have the power and the ability to master this. I will share something from my culture with you in Arabic language. So we have a famous poet, Ili Abu Madi. He has this is a poetry, famous poetry. He says, وتحسب أنك جرم صغير وفيك انطوى العالم الأكبر. And this translates that you, as a human, think you are very small. When you compare yourself to the universe, when you compare yourself to everything changes and the vast jumps in the science. But if you really think about it, it's all started within you. You have a whole world inside you. You have a whole world guiding you. You have a whole capacity. You have a whole so many traits that are leading to these inventions, are leading to these things. So don't worry, you will never lose the control if you keep that in mind. Thank you very much. And thank you for FOQ again. Back to you. Debbie? Hi, Debbie. Debbie, I'm not able to hear you. I cannot hear you. Yes, I
looking
can
for
hear you.
technical. Yeah, okay, thank you so much. May, we're just looking to see if we've got any questions, but in the meantime, one from me. And we're in a world obsessed with speed and efficiency at the moment, and AI is seen as quite a silver bullet in lots of instances. How can organizations help create a culture that will help the human thrive and be most effective in the world of AI?
Yes, thank you for that question. You are right. This is something that needs to be adopted by organizations to be able to thrive and to be able to have its effect on a longer term. So I think the first point is awareness, actually, because when we tend to go into too much work and continuous work without any kind of reflection on what we're doing, whether as companies or as individuals, we tend to not be able to spot that things need to be changed. So awareness of the importance of to look and see the tester as a human, and also to look and see the person who are you giving the software to as a human as well. These are the things that will help the organization keep focus and along the way to do it. Sometimes you can just reflect after a specific project what has gone correct, what has gone wrong. Is there any human aspect that got affected by that or not? What about to ask the end users, what did you like and what didn't you like while we're doing that? Always try to come out of your, shell, what you already know. Ask, what would this look like in a different culture as well? You can open up a lot of doors that way.
Thank you. Again, just say to people, please pop your questions in. But another one, you touched on some of the important skills, critical thinking, empathy. How can we help ourselves to develop those skills? Because someone might say, well, you're either a critical thinker or you're not. Is it something you can develop?
Well, like any other skill, I think that has both sides. It has something that's built in you when you are born. That's sometimes people distinguish each other from. But at the same time, this is something that you learn as you go. So again, the first point is to get more awareness about this. If you can understand a bit more what emotional intelligence is, what really makes a human being, try to read a bit more about even inside the philosophy part of the humans. I think one of your speakers, I'm not sure last year or the year before, had a very nice presentation about that, where philosophy meets with software testing and with humans as well. It was really something that opened up some areas for me. And again, I think this is something that you can learn with time, not something that you need to know from day one. You need to practice as well. Don't be afraid to go wrong. Don't be afraid to ask about things. That's the way we learn.
Perfect. I'm just going to ask, I know that we have a couple of questions. Just ask the technical team again if they have them to pop up on screen. Here we go. You mentioned a lot of human characteristics that you advise the software tester to keep in mind, and they are all important. But if you were to mark out the most important, what would it be and why?
Okay. That's a good question, actually, yes. Also, this differs, I think, from a culture to another. But if it was up to me to decide which really one of those characteristics that I would mark as number one that makes us human and we need to keep in mind is empathy. Empathy. Because without empathy, we will not be able to put the needed effort or to be able to want to put the effort to understand the users. Without empathy, you will lose focus on what's really important for that user, not for us. Without empathy, you might not be able to see the edge cases and how they really would affect someone terribly. That's something that would also help us maybe when you communicate with developers around us, when we communicate with the outside world. We need to empathize with them in a way that we can reflect on and help people also get awareness. This will help people get more awareness about what they are actually accomplishing and doing and how important it is.
And empathy as a skill, a little bit like developing critical thinking skills.
Yes.
Where do we begin with that, May? How do we develop that skill?
Yeah, it's really something that it's not that easy, by the way. But I think sometimes we need to look at it as, Debbie, this world is really running all the time, and everyone is focusing on themselves, whether they notice that or not. We all want to accomplish, all want to move on. So maybe our priority would be ourselves, our own, what we're doing, our path. So that can lead to some selfishness. That can lead to some, we all the time we want to accomplish and we do the things that we want. But I think it can be done either the hard way or the easy way. The hard way is that when you get a question after delivering a project, how come you didn't see this, issue? It's so destructive for the end user. The tone of the message was really wrong. Why did that conflict happen? So when you try to look or to put yourself in the other person's shoes, that's where you start to feel empathy. It can be after a bad incident, or if you can, to look around what's happening around you. Why did that happen? Why did that go around? So this is something that you can also learn from others, because we are too busy always. So you feel that sometimes we don't want to reveal our emotions. But if you allow someone to empathize with you, you will learn that eventually. I think this is something really important for the team leaders as well, and the ones in the management, because when you are working with a tester who is already doing their best, if they failed something or if they missed something, and instead of just why did you do that and what happened, you try to understand what went wrong and how to help, that you are like someone guiding them. That would help them feel that you emphasize with them and would set a role model for them on how to do that with others, with people, with customers, with all that's related to software.
Great insight. Thank you so much for that, May. Do we have another question here? Sarah, thank you for your question. I'm a manual tester. What would be the best next step for my career, going deeper into automation testing or learning AI test techniques? Thanks to May in advance for the advice and support. Thank you, Sarah, for your question.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, it's a pretty good question because sometimes it's easy to know how to start. To practice the foundations, the fundamentals. You can maybe get CTFL. You can work for a couple of years in that. And most people they start manual testing, which is I think the right way to do it at the start. But the next steps, would you go deeper in automation testing or learning AI techniques? For me, I think that today AI is leading even more. It's becoming more widespread, and it is leading automation as well. It's helping in automation. But what I would recommend is that you reconsider what are your priorities, what are you trying to learn, what are the users, what do you really need automation today, or do you need it tomorrow? Do you need the AI today or need it tomorrow? You need to consider these aspects. So it's really up to you. But I would think that there's a minimum information that you need to know about both. But if I want to give you a priority now to work on maybe for a couple of months, I would really advise that you look into AI and how automation would entangle into that AI. For example, that AI can help you to generate maybe automation script. It can help when healing the script, self-healing scripts. It can also help you to understand, to analyze the logs and to find the issues. If you are stable enough today and good enough at manual testing, you can delve into these. But please try your best to understand where to use it in automation. That if I want to link both of them together, where to use it in automation, and that's where you can learn maybe both of them together.
Thank you, May. Some good advice, and thank you, Sarah, for the question. We've had that question already. You said new testers need manual experience to judge AI work, but what if the company demands AI use from day one, or the tester is too enthusiastic to wait?
Yeah, actually, that's an issue, especially with being a trend. It's becoming a trend, and something when becomes something a trend, it loses its main strength points. Mm-hmm. Because if you want to follow just to follow a trend because everyone is doing it, you will not do it the correct way. It's just really like if you want to to buy a dress because it's just famous. Today it's really famous to have the burqa spots, and these days I noticed that maybe sometimes some people would like to wear it. It looks nice on them, and others it's not. It's much more complex for AI, of course, than just a dress. But I want to say that it's not something not to touch at all when you start. That's not what I mean. It's something that you need to go into a bit carefully. But if you are going into a company that puts the pressure on you to use it from day one because they think that this is the way to learn testing, just go into AI and ask them what you want. Because I've seen this firsthand, actually, while training some testers and listening from how it's being done by companies now. You can do so, but be smart enough to understand that this is something I need to work on in parallel with my learning on how to do hands-on testing. Even if you want to use AI, just try to apply some of the ideas I mentioned, that put some roadmap, even if you are new to testing. Read about it from the internet, read about it from the books, ask the people around you, the seniors around you, what they can provide you with, how they advise you to go through this. So that when you use AI, you really have to minimize the usage at the first period at least. Try it out, try different, maybe even platforms, for the AI, different systems, and you will eventually reach to that. But have please at that checkpoint every single project at least to check in with someone more senior to do it maybe in parallel, the manual way, and see and compare and learn.
Well, thank you. May, we've come to the end of our session, so we can't take any more questions for now. But please, as I mentioned earlier, if people do have comments or questions for May, I know she'll come back to you later, so do let us know. Huge thank you for everyone who's tuned in. Can we have that QR code, please, up there? Thank you very much, technical team. We'll give you some time to scan that and vote for May. May, massive thank you to everyone who's listening live. Please stay tuned in for the next session. And just to say that we will have all of these sessions available for you to view after the event, because I know there's some good content and well worth listening to a second time, third time perhaps even. Thank you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Debbie, and everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.